Hey everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my channel today. Today's topic, 3 topics. Canada has decided to shut down all of its ports until November the 1st, thereby effectively finishing off the cruise season for Alaska and the Maritimes, New England. Hawaii, news coming out of Hawaii again today about the quarantine and other factors. And Copenhagen, we have news out of Europe regarding cruising out of Copenhagen in Europe. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, everybody. Thank you for giving my videos thumbs ups. Thank you for your comments. Also, thank you for joining me on my Facebook group page and joining Jennifer and I on our Instagram account. And of course, thanks to all of you out there who are going to the RedBubble Store, link down below in the description here, to head over there and pick off a few items for yourselves with the Traveling with Bruce logo on there. Must have 35 different logos and 20-30 items per logo. Thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate it. Let's talk about what's happening here. The world today. Here is a shot, a map from a Cruise Mapper where I'm zooming out from New York and Boston and through Maine into the Maritimes. You can see here the Canada just north of Bangor, Maine, and this area here is known for wonderful cruising every summer and fall. Unfortunately, all for naught. There will be no cruises this year from the USA to Canada for maritime locations, or this fall for the wonderful fall foliage that appears every year. Unfortunately, Canada announced today that it has decided to extend its shutdown for its ports until November 1, and that completely cuts all Canadian ports off from any cruise ship. And under the Jones Act for foreign flagged cruise ships out there, you want to take a cruise from New York to, say, Montreal, or to Quebec City, or to the Maritimes, say Halifax. It was really convenient for the cruise lines. They could start the cruise in Boston, New York, wherever, as long as you made a port visit in Canada. On the way, you could come back to New York or Boston and not run afoul of the U.S.'s Jones Act. But Canada has decided to extend the shutdown due to the virus, and they are effectively, by making this action, they have effectively cut cruising off to zero for all of 2020 for cruises up here in the Northeast. And these gorgeous vistas, these fantastic views, wonderful people, unfortunately, will not be visited by any cruisers this year. Cruise ships and passengers from around the world love to come here in the summer and the fall. Another area that's been affected, of course, is the West Coast. Here in Vancouver, where the seaplanes literally take off and land right off the downtown shore here in Vancouver, British Columbia. Here as well, there will be no cruise ships this year visiting Vancouver at all. Vancouver and Victoria and some stops in Nanaimo, BC. These are the ports that cruise lines use to make a visit into Canada, whether they start in Seattle or they start in Anchorage. You take a 1-week cruise to Alaska. It might be one way going up or one way coming down, or it might be a one week trip up and down all in one go. You have to make a stop in Canada to adhere to the Jones Act. Unfortunately, no ships will be coming into Vancouver or anywhere else, and that means the Alaska cruise season is over. Not a single cruise will take place this year with any of the major cruise lines. And that includes, of course, all of the Carnival brands, including Princess, Holland America. The Cunard line won't be here. Disney won't be here. Royal Caribbean won't be here. Celebrity, Norwegian, of course, and all of the other lines that exist will not be able to visit Alaska because they can't make a stop into Canada on the way up or on the way back. And this is going to be devastating for the Alaska economy. So much of the Alaska economy depends on cruise passenger tourism visits. Not only have you got the per person head tax that the state charges, but you've got all the port fees and all of the tours that take place at all of the various stops. Here is the region I'm talking about. You can see in the bottom here where Seattle and Vancouver Island are located, and then all the way up the coast, you've got the inside passages there, Skagway and Ketchikan. Unfortunately, all of this is lost. Here's a zoom-in area here of Seattle, Tacoma, Everett, Vancouver, Victoria, the entire region there of Vancouver Island, and some of the most stunning scenery in all the world to be enjoyed here if you ever get the chance to take a cruise in this area. But not for 2020, unfortunately. It's all over. And of course, one of the biggest losers will also be the city of Seattle, because so many cruises start here. The city wanted to build a $300+ million additional terminal facility here for the harbor. That might be on a bit of a delay right now. It's not going to be needed for another year. Seattle had been experiencing and was expecting to experience record numbers of cruisers this coming year, and so the numbers in Seattle will be down this year, to say the least. Now, over in Hawaii, more news is coming out about Hawaii and cruising and tourism in general. The story now is that if you travel within the Hawaiian Islands, from one Hawaiian island to another, there are no quarantine worries to be dealt with. But if you're traveling to Hawaii by air from the mainland or anywhere else foreign, you come into Hawaii, you're immediately going to be in a 14-day quarantine. That now is being extended to July the 1st. That was going to expire shortly. That's been extended another month. For 2019, last year, there were 856,000 tourists that came into Hawaii. This year, 4,500 have come in. That's the difference between last year and this year. Absolutely devastating. The unemployment rate in Hawaii right now is at 22.3%, to give you an idea how dependent Hawaii is on tourism. There's so many people employed in the tourism trade, and the unemployment rate is one of the highest in all of the U.S. The 2020 GDP is expected to drop by 11.1% this year, and that number might be revised even higher. So it's going to be a rough year for Hawaii this year. No one flying in, no one sailing in, and it's going to be extended now till July, and it might go beyond that. Some of my viewers are asking me, Bruce, why don't they just take the Pride of America cruise ship that Norwegian has and sail it from Hawaii? You can see the dot at the bottom of this map here in the ocean there in Pacific. Why don't you sail from Hawaii to Alaska? You're not going to any other country. You're staying in U.S. territory the whole way, and you don't even have to visit Canada. Can't you do that? Well, you can see by the distance, it would take 5 days each direction just to get to the land and back. And with the storms out there, you don't want to take the chance that your schedule could get all fouled up. Just not worth it. So cannot be done. It's not practical. Here's an image of a cruise ship in Copenhagen. Copenhagen, or Copenhagen, depending on how you like it pronounced, they made an announcement today. Unfortunately, the Port Authority announced that they have indefinitely postponed the building out of a brand new passenger cruise port facility. Now, this map here of Europe, as I'm zooming in for you, again, courtesy of Cruise Mapper, you can see Denmark here in the image, Germany to the south, the Netherlands, Poland, Sweden, Norway to the north. Copenhagen is really in the middle of it. They're in the center of what we would call the Baltic region. If you want to take a Baltic cruise to Norway, Sweden, St. Petersburg, the Netherlands, over to the United Kingdom, you could depart from Copenhagen. And Copenhagen has a strong advantage over other ports in that Copenhagen, being in the middle, number one, is also accessible by rail for many Europeans. And so the folks in Copenhagen were hoping to really beef up their port there to take advantage of the growing numbers of tourists that come here to the city of Copenhagen. Beautiful place, safe as can be, wonderful people, gorgeous summer weather, long days with the sunshine lasting hours and hours and hours. And it's an incredibly popular place to visit as a regular tourist, let alone being a cruise tourist. But for Americans and Germans and Spaniards and Italians, You come up here in the summertime, and the city is an experience unto itself, and the cruising is just gorgeous. Unfortunately, this at the moment, this area is not being frequented as much, obviously, because of the virus. And because of the extent of the virus, the thinking is that cruising will not recover for another year or two in Europe at least. There's no need to build out the terminal at this time. The government obviously is spending money on many other areas rather than on tourism right now. And so these scenes here will stay as they are. They will remain as mementos and photographs, and will have to be experienced another day by travelers at another time. There you go. 3 stories: Canada, Hawaii, Copenhagen. Lots happening, lots changing, but unfortunately the cruise business is getting smaller, not larger. We'll stay on it. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your support of my channel. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next time, everyone. Bye for now.